Hi everyone, I'm Chris, the Camping Stitcher, back from a month on the road. So, I have a lot, I think, I have a lot to chit-chat about, so I hope this doesn't go too long. But while I was gone, my channel did reach over 1,000 subscribers, so I just want to say thank you. I will be having a little gift away at the end of the video, so if you want to stick around. I actually did get some I guess editing lessons from my daughter-in-law, Jess Crafts. She's on YouTube. She's a very talented card maker. If you want to check her out, I know a lot of us like multi-crafts, so if you're interested in card making, she does a lot of free templates. And she was nice enough to sit down with me while we were visiting and show me some editing tricks in iMovie. So if I have to stop this, I actually know how to put them together, I think. And I can maybe insert some pictures if I point. I don't know. We'll give it a try. But anyway, it's good to be back home. We were gone for 30 days, our longest trip ever. We actually headed out to Austin, Texas first. We had actually contemplated not going on a long trip this year. We were going to stick around pretty close to home, and our youngest son needed to have some surgery. So we were going out there one way or another. So we figured, well, it would be a good opportunity to get out there. Gas prices were not bad once we got off the East Coast and out of New Jersey. New Jersey, they're high. I'm really not sure what... Somebody explain it to me, because everywhere else they weren't worse than last summer when we went out west. But, I mean, a couple places were a little higher than you wanted to pay because you were close to a major road or an interstate or something like that, but not very often, so we really didn't have too much of a problem. But anyway, we were going to go out there anyway, and we didn't want to rely on airlines because a lot of flights, as you know, were getting canceled, and airfares were terrifically high. Also, you know, you have to look into, you know, renting a car and possibly accommodations. So we just took the motorhome, and we have a small motorhome. It's a Class C. I did post a couple of pictures on my Instagram of what it looks like, and a little tour of the inside of it on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that, just check the shorts. There's a little tour of the inside of our RV. I did bring quite a few projects. I think I want to say I brought 6 or 5, and I ended up picking up something on the road and starting it. Thank you to Jamie and Terry of the Cornhusker State Stitchers. You'll see that in a little bit. I have tons of notes, but I probably won't follow them. Anyway, first I wanted to start off with questions and comments I had gotten on my latest video. Marilyn had asked for measurements on the baby project bags I was making. I'm gonna measure them, but I kind of use scraps that I have around, so I kind of measure off the biggest scrap for the back of it, and then I make all the other pieces accordingly. The method I use is on Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch's YouTube channel. I'll link it. She has an excellent bag tutorial for the bigger vinyl fronted project bags, and I use that exact same method when I make the smaller ones, except I just make them smaller. But I will, you know, when I get back to my sewing table, I'll try to take some measurements, Marilyn, and I'll shoot you a message. Little Annie Z asked for the best tips for camping, what to bring, how to make reservations, and favorite places. Oh my gosh, there's so much. And so I think probably what I'll do is an extra video on just things that we do. So look for that. Maybe I'll get to that at the end of this week. I'm trying to catch up on wash, and I'm not even unpacked yet. Somewhat unpacked. I got a couple of loads of wash in, went food shopping this morning because we had nothing. I mean, I didn't want to leave too much home, but what I did, I had a toss and went food shopping this morning. So I'm just getting back into the swing of things. So I will definitely make a camping video for anybody who's interested, and I'll label it as such. So if you're not, don't worry about it. Also, oh, you know, talking about camping stories, I just want to say, Jenny Dawn, I'm glad your little one's okay. She had put a message in the comments that I guess they were tenting, and her youngest figured out how to open the tent and went missing, but they found him right in front of their campsite. I think, you know, that probably is one of the things I worried about. So, you know, when your kids get older, you can kind of explain that to them, but when they're little like that and they're precocious, or even just not precocious, but just interested in things around them, they're gonna play with zippers and figure out a way. And thankfully, neither one of our boys did that with the tent, but I will tell you that my oldest used to like to walk out of my house. So it's just, you know, one of those things where you have to, I'm so glad her little one was okay, because like I said, worst nightmare is just waking up in a tent and seeing somebody not there. But you know, you have to, same worries at home, you know, that door that they learn how to unlatch, or, you know, open up and walk out while you're doing in the bathroom, I don't know, fixing them lunch. Anything could happen. So glad, Jenny Dawn, that your little one was okay, and I'm glad you moved up to a pop-up. And I think a lot of us, when we are tent camping, we end up kind of moving because we want something, or something happens. So, you know, in our case, it was raincation. But I think people just enjoy getting out there, but want to be comfortable. So I've had somebody say to me, "You don't camp." Yeah, I view it as camping. So I want to say, we go in between, you know, places that we might stay where we have electricity and hookups. There's a lot of times we go places that are completely off the grid. They have no water, no electric. We have a generator that will run to keep our batteries charged, because we run a refrigerator. But yeah, we're out, you know, there's no conveniences other than, you know, I have a bathroom in my RV. So a lot of the places you go to have vault toilets, and some of them are even off the grid-ish type and have flush toilets. But it's all what you want to do, and it lets us get out there, and we can experience the national parks and some of the less trafficked areas, like in Wyoming, where we were up in Medicine Bow Route Forest. We actually moved campsites when we were there, because the first one that we have gone to before had no water, and they had no alternative for us to get water. So we moved sites up closer to the Continental Divide, which was just about 10 minutes up the road. But anyway, so we think it's camping, and having been tent campers for most of our lives, we're okay with it. So, anyway, the last comment I got, which I thought was really interesting, and I had been thinking of it myself. Pamela, she said she took her motorhome to StitchCon, and that is exactly what I would do, Pamela. If I am fortunate enough to be able to attend StitchCon in the next couple of years, I think we would definitely take the motorhome, camp close by, and we don't tow a car at this point, but we might just, you know, start doing that. I have a Jeep Wrangler, so one of the reasons we bought it was so that if we ever did decide to flat tow, we could tow that. Or, you know, our motorhome isn't that big. It's 24 feet. The house is, I guess, 24 feet, and the chassis is a couple more feet, so we say it's 26, 27 feet. It's easy enough for us to pull up the feet and the slides and go. And we have done it many times. It's easy enough to drive. It's not big. You can park it. So I would definitely consider that, going to a retreat. especially if it was close enough to drive, staying at a campsite and, the weather was decent. I mean, warm enough, not too, mm, not freezing cold in snow, but we have camped in snow, so, um, I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyways, those were a couple of my questions and comments. I did have a question on types of fabric and counts, and I did do a poll on Instagram, and it was really interesting to see the responses I got. I love 36 count. It's my favorite count. I do stitch some on 40, like a Tisket a Tasket is on 40. I have to really get, good light. I use my regular glasses. That's not a problem, but I have to have good light. And it has to be a 40 count where it's not really tight. So, oh my God, sorry. I like 36 count because it allows me to go and stitch 1/2. I don't do a lot of 1/1 except where it's called for in a pattern. I like the fact that it's more economical on your floss. I just like the way my stitches look on it. I do tend to make my Prairie Schooler Santas on 32 platinum and do 2/2, but it's just, I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's actually almost easier on my hands to use one thread. Yeah, sometimes I think if you have a lot of coverage, or it could be tight and more tension on my hands. So I just enjoy it. It's a more enjoyable experience. And I like the size that 36 can give you on some things where if you have limited wall space, that's something to consider. Other than, making things into pillows or seasonal things where you could put them away. If you're going to put something on your wall, say for instance, consider the lilies, that is a big stitch. That's going to take up a lot of wall space. I have a place in mind, and I have a big enough wall to do it in, but a lot of us don't have the wall space to hang things up and leave them up. So I think 36 is a nice option and gives you a nice size. And I think a lot of designers are tending towards, at least the ones that I like, a lot of them I frequently see 36 count. So it's what makes me happy. A lot of you felt the same way. You felt the same way about the size. You felt the same way about conserving your fancy floors, especially. And a lot of you answered that you liked 32 count, or you were more comfortable at 28. And I'm talking, 28 or 14. I wasn't distinguishing between Aida and linen. So it was really interesting. I really appreciate how many people participated in that poll. I wasn't able to get the final result, but there were a lot of you that participated, and I didn't have internet at the time. I was still away, so I couldn't capture that last little bit, but it was interesting. I have a couple of ideas for other polls, so I'll look for one next week. Let's see. Oh, I want to say thank you too for everybody who wished me a happy birthday. It was a big one, 60. It was a great way to spend my birthday. I got to hang out with my oldest son, my daughter-in-law, and my grandson for my birthday morning. We went on an awesome hike around Sprague Lake. We were lucky enough to get into Rocky Mountain National Park to camp, and we had a little nice encounter with a moose. I'll try to insert the video at the end, see how well I can do that. It was really nice. I had a little episode with my right eye when we got to our campground in Colorado. I bent over to pick up one of the dog's dishes, and I got up, and my right eye just was like I couldn't see normal. I had some gray area and a black, looked like a thread, and it happened pretty suddenly. We were camping when it happened. We were in Wyoming. We were at about 10,000 feet elevation. So we were moving that day, and it didn't get better. So by the time we did get to Colorado, I was calling around for eye specialists. I did call it an eye doctor, and they recommended a retinal specialist. It turned out to be what they call a PVD. It's called a posterior vitreous detachment, which is a floater. A lot of us have them, but this was big. I still have it in my field of vision, especially if I'm looking out at landscapes, or you're looking at a bigger area of blank space. It's very noticeable in my vision. The symptoms of the PVD and a detached or torn retina are the same. So only a specialist or an eye doctor can tell you that you didn't tear it. So that's what we were worried about, because I had seen flashes when it happened. And I knew, I've always been told, if you see that, get to an eye doctor. So we did, and I'm okay. And hopefully my brain will take over and make it so that I don't see that big floater. If it doesn't, I'm probably going to have something, procedure. But we're hoping that my brain will take over. It hasn't yet. I guess your brain compensates for some certain things that you see. Anyway, it was a little scare, but it turned out okay, best case. So that's how, a couple of days before my my 60th birthday happened. 30th, I wish. Anyway, we had a great time. I was glad to have spent it on the road like that. It was a neat way to bring in 60. So I do have some FOs. Let's get going on the cross stitch. I've been talking for a while and nothing on the cross stitch yet. Alright, I did have 2 finishes, and actually they were the 2 finishes I wanted to get done. So the first one was by Primrose Cottage Stitches, All American. Sorry, it's a little beat up. I did finish this. If I say one more time, I'm telling you. Didn't press anything. I'm just getting unpacked. But I love it. I love their patterns. I did, boy, I want to say I substituted some colors. I did write them down, so I'll have to, if you're interested, just leave me a comment and I'll get you the colors that I used. They were very similar. I used what I had on hand. That was my first FO, and I think, I'm not really sure how I'm going to finish that. If you have any ideas, pillow or just a seasonal thing, I really like the way that came out. And the other finish, which I really worked, I did a lot of car stitching, and a lot of you remarked, not car stitching, well, RV stitching, but we had a lot of days on the road where there were hours. So if the road was nice and smooth, I stitched. This was God Bless America by Plum Street, and I finished it, and I love this. I actually think I would leave this out all year, and I do want to frame it. And I used all the called for colors on this one. I believe the linen was 36 count winter's brew, maybe? I'll have to check on that. I made notes, but I didn't bother to get you any of the details. But I just love the way it came out in that little eagle. The one thing I will say on this, I used all the called for colors. And if you notice, I don't know if it's me, but I checked the pattern a couple of times. If you see the stars there, and you see the stars on the pattern, the inside and the outside yellows are kind of flipped. I followed the pattern, and I actually don't mind the way they came out. But they are different from her cover photo. So keep that in mind. You know, if you don't mind that. I didn't mind it. I love the way it came out. Excuse me, pardon me. I dropped my notes that I'm not following. Anyway, so those are my two FOs. What I worked on while I was road tripping. Let's see. I worked a little bit on, don't want to show you the pattern, Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs. I did get quite a bit done on this. I finished this flower and the two borders underneath it, the alphabets around the flower, and then I just got sidetracked. You know, sometimes I just stitch what you want when you want, right? So I did get to work on that. I did get quite a bit of stitching in, which was really nice. It's nice to be able to, someone asked me what I decide to bring with me. I didn't have a real method of it. I went through my whips and I took what I thought I would work on, and that's how I did a little bit on Humming of the Bees by Blackbird Designs. I think the only two that I didn't touch were the Hands Across the Sea that I brought with me. So I did a little bit more of this border, and I started down here, and a little bit more of this side border, and that was about it on that, because I was really working on the two patriotic stitches, and once I get to a certain point, I kind of am a monogamous stitcher. So that was that one. And I did bring my BAP for Bab, my big blank stitch for my big blank birthday. Consider the Lilies. And I absolutely picked it up on my birthday and worked on it, and I actually picked it up a few more times. And I got quite a few motifs done. Ooh, wait. Yep. It would be nice if I held it up the right way. I was like, that looks sideways. So I did the bee scat, this little flower here, this little motif, and a few more of the border flowers, the border lilies. So I left my Grecian gold at home, so I have to finish that bee skip. I kind of like when I work on a motif, I like to finish it. I don't like to leave it if I put it away. So this is going to be out, so I can finish that bee skip. I left two things at home. One of them was Live on Little, which I had planned on starting with everybody else. Chrissy Finally a Farm Girl, Stitchy Linda, Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher, and a couple other gals. I mean, more than a couple, but we're starting it on the 15th, and I was all set, and I took it out on the 15th, and I had no pattern. And you want to know why I had no pattern? Because in my last Flosstube, I put it in my haul basket to show you, and left it there when I left on vacation, which isn't going to help me out. So what choice did I have? That brings us right into haul. Oh my gosh, I can understand why everybody has stuff laying around when they do these, because I just totally threw that all over the floor. Okay. So on haul, there was one place I wanted to go, and we almost didn't do it because it was the morning of the eye thing, and I don't know, I was thinking, well, if I distracted myself, maybe I'll forget about it, and I don't know, when you're having something happen, you kind of like, some people, I don't know, I'm one of those kind of people that if I distract myself, and then maybe it'll go away. Something like that. I don't know. It was silly. It didn't work. Anyway, so we stopped at Colorado Cross Stitcher, and I managed through the eye thing to pick up a couple things. Unfortunately, I did not get to meet Sherry. She got there about 15 minutes after me. So next time I plan on going back. So what I did get was a new copy of Lavelle Little, which I'll show you when I show you the whip. I did buy Souvenirs of the Heart by With Thy Needle and Thread, which I thought was really cute. I also got, apparently I have a problem with Plum Street. I love them. So I purchased Flag Flock, which that's what it looks like. And because I've seen this so many times in other places, but I just saw it on Tiffany Stitching with the Twins. Hers looks so gorgeous. I had to get it. So Tiffany, I think I'm going to be starting this one soon too. I still haven't reached 22 in 22 whips in 22 because I finished 2. So I mean, you know, why not? So I did also pick up 2 fabrics. This actually is what I started my new start on. This is called Hazelwood, and this is by Fiber on a Whim. It is really pretty. It's not showing, just trying to say if you could see the green. It's got a greenish tint to it. It's really pretty. I actually ended up starting my new start on that. More about that in a minute. And I did pick up also more Fox and Rabbit Up in the Attic. I have stitched on this before, and I love this color. This is just such a great neutral. 36 count. I love they're one of my favorites. I'm in their fabric of the month. So I could just have all the Fox and Rabbit. So that was my haul from Colorado Cross Stitcher. Awesome shop. I just so many patterns, a lot of nice fabric, and she had a wall of fancy floss, and just definitely go in if you're nearby. Make a little stop there. I also did get to stop at Stitch and Frame. Where was that? Gonna say Indiana. We were in Johnny Appleseed Campground, right off a hysterically named road, named after Harry. I think it was Indiana. I'll have to check. Indiana or, oh, yes, Indiana, Fort Wayne. Sorry. Okay, so I did buy a few patterns from her. I did try to get some, and I bought the floss for my new start, which I'll show you in a second. But anyway, I did try to buy fabric there, and she said she doesn't sell anything over 32 because not a lot of her customers want higher counts. So I ended up using what I had. I did buy this Little House Needleworks Old Glory. I'm just very into the patriotic. I bought Heart and Hands Hummingbird Sampler because we had, I don't know, I'll try to post that too at the end. We had so many hummingbirds when we were in Glen Echo Resort that I just want to commemorate that. You know when you order something and it's out of stock and you forget you ordered it, and then you see it on vacation and you get it, and then you come home from vacation and the one that you ordered that was back ordered is waiting for you? Because I love Primrose. Oh, my husband bought this for me for my birthday. Becca, Sam Brie. I thought you would appreciate this. Anyway, I have a duplicate. I'll hang on to it for another giveaway because I have my giveaway planned. And also because I just really love Primrose Cottage Stitches. Hive rules for my sewing room. Love it. And I did get the DMC for my new start. What have I been working on? What was my new start? Okay. Let's do that first. Because this is because I saw also Tiffany, Stitching with the Twins. She's working on this as well. My favorite season in the whole wide world, and that's where I am. And I have to slow down, so I'll get working on my Consider the Lilies because they've got a section. I think they're starting from the bottom. I always start in the top left, so I've got the 2 sections. I think I'm right on time. I thought I was a little ahead of the game, but not too bad. But I just love it. This is on 36 count Hazelwood by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm using the called for DMC. No substitutions. They're gorgeous colors. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about the ums. One of these days I'll learn how to pause without saying anything. These are the colors. They are just stunning. And on that fabric, I love the way they're coming out. And I'm not sure the light is right. If you hear a humming in the background, it's the air conditioning. It is super disgustingly hot in Northwest New Jersey. We came home to the heat. Why? What's happening? I don't know. Something. That is my new start on, well, my second new start on vacation. I'm trying to look around because I don't know what I did with my Live on Little. That could be a problem. Okay, I did have some things waiting for me when I came home. The first one was I participated in Cindy DeRosa. She did the ornament exchange, and I'm so excited. This is just adorable. Look at that. I wish, now she said it's from Country Christmas Hearts, Jeremiah Junction, on 14 count antique white Ada. I just wish I knew the person. I would love to say thank you, but it's just so cute. Look at that. Birds, I just love it. The birdhouse, and such beautiful stitching, and I love the way she finished it. So that was waiting for me, which I just was so excited to have that. And then I had gotten the email from Teresa Vanette at Kitten Stitcher about the club that's not a club. So I was like, I can be in a club that's not a club. Home, and this is what we ended up getting by the Primitive Hare, which is going to be really cute. It's not my usual, but I just think it's going to be really pretty. So it came with the fabric and all the floss. I might have to start that too. It's so different and so pretty. The house is something, isn't it? So that was waiting for me. And then I think this is okay to say because the August shipment is done, but Fox and Rabbit did it again, knocked it out of the park with fabric of the month. This is Salt Bush. Gorgeous. Oh, I guess, you know, if you're gonna, you need fabric. I mean, how else are you gonna cross stitch on stuff? It's nice to have, I'm sorry for the crinkle. Sorry. It's nice to have a stash that you can pick from. So I'm not gonna, you know, say I'm not doing that. I'm always gonna buy fabric. I really don't know where my Live on Little is. That's just a little oh, I think it's inside. Okay, so of course, we already showed you this duplicate. And then I saw this on Jeanette and Heather. I'm drawing a blank. I'll put their link down below. I'm sorry girls, I watch your Flosstube all the time. Scrappiness is Happiness by Lori Holt, and I pre-ordered it, and it came with this from Fat Quarter Shop. So I haven't even had a chance to look through that yet, and I can't wait. But they totally enabled me on that one. Okay, so that is, oh my gosh, that is all the haul. I could stop and go get my Live on Little, or I could just save it for the next time, because, you know, that seems to have a little thing over its head. I did start it. Let's see. Oh, the other thing I got in haul was we did stop at a quilt shop, and that was called Ana Luisa's. And where was that? Ohio? I think so. Yes, Ohio. And I did pick up a couple of Halloween fat quarters. Okay. There's that. And then I had to have this one because owls and pumpkins and skeletons and scary things. So I'm gonna make some little Halloween project bag for that. And then I did pick up 2 patterns for wool applique. That one. And this one is just a table runner quilted. So that was the last of my haul in my mail, my happy mail. And I think we might be coming to the end here, I think. Oh, I do have a new nickname, courtesy of Heidi Studio on Instagram. She is referred to me as the enabling fairy. Happy to help. I do owe you a camping story, and I just wanted to shout out Kansas City Girl in a Colorado World. Thank you for the information on the campground in Poudre Canyon, Glen Echo Resort. We ended up staying there for a couple of days, and we really had a nice time there. They had a lovely little restaurant that I ended up in my birthday dinner, which was nice. So thanks for the tip. I hope I can return the favor sometime, and I hope that you're having a good time with your traveling around in your little camper. That looked like a lot of fun. Okay, so let's do the camping story. So while we were driving in the car, I said to my husband, I need to have a list of camping stories because I promised, and people were interested in it. So he was just throwing memories out at me, and I was writing them down. One of the very first camping trips we took once we moved to New Jersey was to Pennsylvania. We were out western Pennsylvania. I want to say maybe near State College. The campground is called Black Moshannon, and I don't like going there. This is why. So I was pregnant with my second son, and we were driving around, and we pulled into this campground, and the first thing that I saw, and we were tent camping at the time, so I was pregnant. The first thing I saw was a campsite with a screen house set up on it, and the screen on the sides of the screen house was shredded, like shredded. That was the first thing I saw. And then it was just something about this campground. I did not want to stay there. And we left it. and we should have stayed left. God. We really didn't find too much else that, you know, we were interested in camping, so we went back. And we got a campsite in the campground. We were down in, like, at a dead end in this campground. And we had, at the time, we had a small little Toyota truck in our tent, and my oldest was about, I want to say he was 3. So we settled in and had dinner and, you know, went to bed. This campground had posts up where they had their aluminum trash cans chained to the posts, and then the lids. So the first thing that woke me up was hearing the lids launch. Something was taking the lids and throwing them. So I waited a little bit because, you know, I guess I'm a lighter sleeper than my husband. And then I heard what could only be referred to as an animal calling to another animal. Now, if you've ever watched, like, remember Marty Stouffer? He used to do that show, Wild America, and he would show, like, you know, everything he'd seen, and, you know, you hear animals calling, you know, bears calling to bears. Well, I heard this call that sounded like exactly what I'd seen on TV. A baby bear calling for its mama. And I picked up the flashlight and I looked out our screen. Now we're in a tent. I looked out the screen window and I see 3 sets of eyes shining back at me. Here, here, and here. So I woke my husband up and I was like, get up. And he looks out and he sees the 3 sets of eyes and he says, you don't have to go to the bathroom, do you? And I'm like, well, kinda, I do. I've been up for a while. He's like, well, you're not going anywhere. There were 3 bears. I mean, the 3 bears were literally outside. I mean, probably about 20 feet away from the tent. But we heard them out there for a little while. And I finally fell back asleep. And I went into the ladies' room the next morning. And there were a couple of women in there talking. And, you know, we had seen, people had pulled in late, you know, to set up. It was probably a Friday night or a Saturday night. And one of the women was like, oh my gosh, did you see that bear by that tent? It was standing up on its hind legs. And I was like, my tent? That was my tent. We had paw prints all over the truck because tent camping, you put your food back in a vehicle. You don't leave it out. I mean, unless there's no wildlife around, which we haven't ever encountered. But yeah, we had paw prints all over the truck, trying to, you know, just see what's in there. Got any, you know, Cheez-Its, whatever. We left. I was just, you know, we live in Northwest New Jersey. We're not. We have bear here. We have bear. We have fox. We have deer. We have bobcat. Yes. We've heard them. A tent in between me and a bear is just not an ideal situation. I'm way happier with a hard-sided camper. And even then, you know, Black and Shannon, we passed it on the way home yesterday. There's a couple of campgrounds we've been to, and not many, that I don't like. And I really even can't give you I mean, there was nothing wrong with that campground. It was fine. But just something about it I just did not like. And there's another one that I don't like going to, and I really can't give, you know, an intelligent argument for not wanting to go there. But, you know, 3 bears. Mama, the baby calling the mama was just like it for me. But that was one of my earliest camping stories. I hope you enjoyed it. So, plans. I am going to get that bee skep done on Consider the Lilies. I will get working on Live on Little because I have a little catching up to do on that. I don't want to have to stop this and go get it. It's in the living room. So I could yell to my husband. I mean, my daughter-in-law showed me how to stop and put things together, but I don't want to. I already have to do this, put 2 together. So, I think that's about it. Oh, the giveaway. So, oh yeah. It fell right through my... I have a project bag, a small mini that I'm going to be gifting away, and this pattern, Live on Little, because I have 2 of them now. So, if you're interested in this, I'll have it go for 2 weeks. In the comments, just use the word camping. You could, you know, just put the word, or you could use it in a sentence. You know, the typical, don't say giveaway, don't be 18 so I can ask for your address, and all the other YouTube rules of engagement there. Just my way of saying thank you for 1,000 subscribers. And that's about it. I am going to go try to figure out how to edit and put things in at the end, and hopefully it'll work. So thanks for coming back, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Stitch away.